Damien Kitto, CEO of the Adelaide Convention Bureau. Thank you for joining us in the Events on Air studio.
Thanks, Drew.
Damien, you've had quite phenomenal growth really over the last 4 years in particular, but the last financial year was a particular standout for the convention industry in South Australia.
Absolutely. Very proud of what the Convention Bureau and partnering with the South Australian Tourism Commission, Adelaide City Council and of course our 200 members. The achievement has been absolutely amazing. $247 million worth of future business has been secured. And if you look at the 4 years worth of that growth, that now attributes for something like $725 million worth of business, around 800,000 bed nights, and something around 6,000 jobs. So in terms of where business events were almost a decade ago to where we are, but indeed the future, which is immense, the potential, we're doing amazing things as a sector.
You mentioned there a decade ago. You've been working with the Convention Bureau for nearly 10 years now. What has really gone into place that's starting to see that rapid acceleration of growth in the industry?
If I think back to where we were almost 10 years ago, the Bureau was generating something like $85 million per annum. Last year it was $247 million, so significant growth. But I think the potential for business events and people understanding that, yes, they're great for the tourism or the visitor economy, the economic injection, it's the legacy and the tangible benefits that are left behind for industry and those particular associations is extensive. So we've only got to look at the investment of convention centres and hotels, the supply growth in the last decade, not only in Adelaide but around Australia, is extensive. So when you've got that supply growth and that level of investment, you've got to drive demand.
You talked there about the building of infrastructure and there's the capability and capacity there. But you're doing a number of different things also on the Convention Bureau these days, aren't you, in terms of you've got things such as bid funding now, which enables you to actually pursue business a lot better.
So I think one of the great successes at the moment, Drew, in terms of contributing towards those great economic results is two factors. It's the infrastructure development across the city, particularly across the Adelaide Riverbank. So we promote Adelaide's Riverbank as Australia's best connected business, events and entertainment precinct. You know, you look at Melbourne, you look at Sydney, they've all got amazing facilities. We've got all of that, but all in the one place. And absolutely, you're right. Credit to the government and also the bipartisan support that we've now got for the convention bid fund. It's something that the Bureau, in collaborating with industry, has lobbied for a long time to secure. To the credit of the government, now having $2.5 million a year to work with government, to work with the convention centre, to not only pitch and try and present the destination in its best form from a tourism perspective and convention perspective, but to underpin and commercially put some money and in-kind benefit on the table is very important. So that is obviously part of the huge success as well.
How does that bid funding then put South Australia ahead of the pack when competing for business overseas?
Competition is rife, not only nationally but internationally. We're now at the table. Previously, we were doing okay, but we weren't that competitive without that funding. If governments of the future ever elected to invest more into the bid fund, that would ensure that the city and the state is even more competitive.
You talk a lot about Team Adelaide, though, that this helps build an umbrella to get everybody underneath and focused in the same direction.
Team Adelaide is one of our 5 key unique selling points. So our conversion is approximately 50%. So the team submits something like about 140 bids per annum. We're winning almost half of those, which is really high. But when we bring people in on the ground for a familiarisation program, for a site inspection, to see the city and the core infrastructure behind that, our conversion lifts to 75%. But the biggest takeaway point is exactly that, the Team Adelaide collaboration and support. People internationally have barely heard of Adelaide. They come in and go, wow, you are a small city with big city infrastructure. The biggest impact is the people. All the products and services from the high level members to the regional members are really supportive and get in behind that ethos of Team Adelaide. Something that is also a key attribute for when you're bringing these business leaders in from overseas is that we have access to the Premier, to ministers, to the Lord Mayor, to senior bureaucrats across government. Big cities such as Melbourne and Sydney and dare I say it, London, Paris, Vancouver, all of our competitors, they don't have that access to government support. We do. So we blow people away when they come in for a site inspection. Team Adelaide is absolutely critical.
You're also going in the other direction now as well, because you've got the grant awards program. From what I understand, you're actually looking to on-the-ground specialists, whether researchers or whoever they may be in universities, to try and help you attract business. How's that quite work?
You're exactly right. There's 3 new programs that we're currently running. Because of the Biomed precinct, we're running an annual destination showcase where we're bringing not only national presidents but international presidents from health life science associations in to experience what the city is. Where only last year we ran our first food and wine or agricultural destination showcase. But off the back of that, which is really important, is the SA Grant Awards program. And we received great support from the universities, from the chief scientist of South Australia, to really promote, to say that here is $7,500 as seed funding to assist you with your program or initiative to even to present an international bid in the future. So it's a tactical sort of profiling program to say, hey, here's the Adelaide Convention Bureau, here's Team Adelaide behind you. If you ever elect to bid for an international convention, here's this big team behind you, and here's some money to help support that process.
Have you got more opportunities now too? Incentivisation trips seem to be a new phrase kicking around. What do they present as an opportunity for the sector in South Australia?
There's something now like $400 million worth of business now coming annually into Australia with Chinese incentive tour groups alone. So last year we were delighted. We partnered with all our partners, particularly the state government, the SA Tourism Commission, Adelaide City Council and our members, to win a piece of business. Perfect China attracted almost 3,000 people across 6 waves of 500 people for almost 2 weeks. That injected over $11 million into the state economy. So just think, $400 million. Last year we won our first piece of large business at $11 million. So much more can be done and achieved. So it's a new opportunity. The city benefits, but also the regions. That's the really great thing about incentive travel groups. They'll stay in the city. They might have a day forum at the convention centre or another venue, but importantly, all the regions can benefit from this. So regional dispersal is a really attractive proposition to hosting corporate incentives.
Corporate visitors seem to have a lot more cash to spend and a greater injection into the economy. Is there something else, though, about that kind of sector that's promoting the state in a different way? You talk about it in your annual report. About 42%, I think, were knowledge-based conventions coming to South Australia. Is that important for showcasing the state in a different light and the different direction we're taking?
There's twofold benefit to hosting a business event, and particularly a convention. The average convention delegate, international and national, spends $632 a day. A leisure visitor is around $180 a day, approaching $200. So a business event delegate is worth a lot more. So that economic injection is significant into the visitor economy. But really importantly, and the International Astronautical Congress was a brilliant example of the legacy or the tangible benefits left behind beyond the visitor economy. So you think about 4,500 people that came in for the IAC. They were all around the world. So the amazing profiling aspects of that presented with space industry leaders coming in, from companies such as NASA, Boeing, Airbus, Lockheed Martin, etc. There's some global companies there. It's quite amazing, let alone Elon Musk from Tesla coming in and talking about SpaceX projects and what have you. The profile, the spotlight was on Adelaide. But you think about the 100 exhibitors or thereabouts that are at the Adelaide Convention Centre, the trade and investment opportunities that sure wouldn't flow immediately, but will flow 12, 18 months beyond the event. It's the knowledge transformation, and with that, creativity, innovation comes. And, there's probably productivity gains that can actually be put back into the business. And something that we're hearing particularly from the medical sector, because of our large research precincts on North Terrace, in Theberton, and obviously growing down at Tonsley, it can actually lead to skilled migration. A scientist comes in for a conference and they go, wow, not only was that a great conference, but look at the lifestyle. Here's this small city with big city infrastructure. This is incredible. Maybe I'll take up a future job and move the family here. So we've actually heard stories of that as well. So the flow-on benefits or the legacy left behind hosting an international conference is significant.
We've talked a lot about the outward benefits of what the Convention Bureau actually does for South Australia, but you're also an umbrella for a whole lot of organisations as well. What benefits do people gain by joining the Bureau and becoming a member?
So we have something like 200 members now. So they vary from being direct beneficiaries of business, so be it the venue, the Adelaide Convention Centre, Adelaide Oval, the National Wine Centre, the venues continue from there, hotels, professional conference organisers, but then there's also the middle tier and also the lower tier. And so the benefits that we provide is it enables the small businesses that perhaps don't have the resources to invest and be involved with the bidding process, but they can work with the Bureau, they can work with those larger partners to leverage and secure, future business opportunities. So, yes, we're a sales company that wins business directly. Organisations can absolutely benefit from that, but we also foster that Team Adelaide network as well, where people can network and really partner, collaborate and leverage from one another. So that's we tend to call the Bureau members a family, and that's all about the Team Adelaide ethos.
The last 4 years, you've seen growth double. Where do you see things in 5 years' time?
I think the opportunity is absolutely immense. We've only, as you've said, the growth over the last 4 years has been extensive. We've done the very best that we can do in collaborating with the government and the council and members. There's some key opportunities to win more international business, really target the Asian incentive program, and those that are already coming for a business event, of which there's around 50,000 delegates now coming into the city and state each year. How do we encourage them to stay longer and spend more on the economy? So there is so much more that can be done. It's a highly competitive industry. We're very much a B2B and people sector, and so to have more people on the ground, talking to potential bid champions to win conventions, or talking to agents or corporate event owners up in Asia, having the arms and legs is critically important to winning even more business in the future. But I think if we look at the base that we're currently working from with the infrastructure development that's taken place, the spotlights on us with extra investment, I truly believe we can perhaps generate over the next 4 years $1 billion industry, which is a really exciting prospect.
Damien Kitto, CEO of the Adelaide Convention Bureau, thanks for joining us in the Events On Air studio, and all the best for the road ahead.
Thanks for the support, the opportunity, Drew. Thank you.